Hey, this is Mark, and today I've got an iPhone 8 Plus that is not booting. Now, I had set this aside after my initial look at it um, to say, okay, maybe I can record this one, but I didn't write any notes for myself, so we're just gonna figure it out. I honestly have no idea what the problem was with this one. But it was something that seemed like it was relatively straightforward and would make for a short video. So let's just see. Hook up to DC power. And alright, so we kind of have a spike of like 0.6 amp, and then it just kind of settles at 0.06 and settles at 0.04. So like 60 milliamp right after you prompt, and then just hanging out at 40 milliamp. So I did throw this on the TriStar tester real quick just to see if that gave me any info, and it didn't. It said it passes. But I'm going to say, I've seen this kind of behavior before when the problem has been Tigris, or rather Tigris 2. So, you know, there's no signs of any kind of damage to this board. So, no physical damage or liquid damage to look for. And the note just says, phone suddenly does not power up, no physical or water damage. Local repair shop determined that it was not the battery. So, this could be a charging issue, or, it could be related to charger damage. So we'll go ahead and change out Tigris 2 and see if that makes a difference. Now, where's my Tigris? Oh, there they are. So sometimes when you don't have a lot of information to go on, the best step initially is to replace something that tends to fail. And we also know that Tigris and TriStar both can fail internally in a lot of ways that won't show up on the TriStar tester. Um, so it's kind of a part of diagnosis is ruling out these chips that commonly fail. And in the iPhone 8 and 8 Plus, Tigris 2 tends to fail more often than Hydra. So it's I don't often recommend going straight into replacing a chip when you don't actually know that that chip is bad. But this is, one of the few exceptions where I think, as part of diagnosis, it's acceptable to swap chips out. All right. Let's see. Need to get some power back over here. And it looks like it's basically doing the same thing. The amount of power it's drawing is a little higher just because the board's still warm. But we saw that spike to 70 milliamp and then hanging out uh, at 50, which as the board cools, I expect will go back down to 40. All right. Next thing I'm gonna do is check and see. Maybe this is, stuck hanging out in DFU mode. So I'm going to check and see if my computer detects it. All right, we are not detected by the computer. So, next thing to go with would be, at least for me, is going to be replacing Hydra. And we'll see how that goes. Don't you go running away on me, little guy. You're going on this board whether you want to or not. Whoops. Well, that seemed to go on just a little wonky there, but sometimes you see chips do that and they're absolutely fine. Sometimes it's a problem. So, worth testing things out, but if this doesn't work, then I may yank that chip off and stick it back on. Stick another one back on. The little bits that I can see from the edge, it doesn't look like any balls are bridged or smaller or larger than they should be. So as bad as that looked, the placement is probably okay. All right, let's get this hooked up to the power and see what happens if we get anything different this time. Ah, that's a little different, although still not what we want. All right, let's just for fun, go ahead and hook up a screen and prompt this to boot with the lightning port so I can see if it's detected. Oh, we still got nothing on the screen. That drop there is from me plugging in the lightning port just to see if the phone is detected. Still not detected. Oh, there we go. All right, that looks good. Okay, so, man, these 8s are like a little funky the way they, prompting them to boot. It used to be a lot more consistent, and maybe it's just me, but it seems like with the 8s, watching the DC power while I prompt to boot is not quite as consistent as the 7 and earlier used to be. Also seems like it takes a few seconds longer. All right, we got touch. So we are good to go on this. This one was apparently was Hydra. So there you go. Sometimes it's Hydra. More often it is TriStar 2. But that like hanging out at 40 milliamps after prompt to boot does tend to be charging related. So, all right, there's another one solved. Thanks for watching.